All right. So,
Hello, world.
Come here.
I like real. I like things. I don't know. Bird was just kind of a collection of riffs that I had at the time. It is a pretty good segue from the sound we had based around Neutrino and the sound we have now in this first LP. It's a pretty good middle point between those two styles. Started writing random riffs, and I ended up just writing basically that whole song in like 3 hours, just compiling riffs together. And I sent it to Brody, and then we traded revisions back and forth a few times for this song. And each time Brody would rewrite a part towards the end and just keep making it crazier. So in general, for this first full length, we definitely had a lot more collaboration, more 50-50 between Brody and I.
Like,
what's progress looking like?
All right, we're at 161 quintillion per second.
there we go.
I wrote 29 after I had just started getting into Periphery. Definitely taking a lot of inspiration from that style that they have.
The first thing that people hear is
The first thing people hear is a goddamn organ.
And I hadn't listened to Periphery at all really before. That was just me kind of trying to take a lot of elements from that more progressive metal, djenty type style and merge it with the typical like math rock and post-hardcore stuff that I grew up on. We use the 2116 rhythm in there a lot. It's kind of subtle. I didn't even notice it the first time that Brody sent it back to me. But yeah, just kind of like jamming on that 21 rhythm with tritones going up and down the neck. But yeah, I hadn't really started listening to heavy music until the beginning of the writing process for this album. Incorporating those elements into this record has been a lot of fun, and it's been challenging to try to write more in this different style that I haven't really even experienced until maybe a year and a half ago. We just don't take ourselves too seriously in general. We're just writing music that we enjoy and that we think would sound sick. We're writing music that we would want to listen to. So for this album, we would actually write stuff out in Guitar Pro and write full demos with everything tabbed out in MIDI. And it was honestly entirely necessary because of how much crazier and how much harder and more technical these songs are. Mushroom was the first song that Brody and I wrote together. It was another one that we just wrote in person. I went to go see Idola and The Ongoing Concept at the Masquerade, which is like down the street from where we lived. I remember walking there. And opening for them was Save Us from the Archon, which is like one of the craziest, most technical, like rhythmically dense and just so many notes thrown into a small section of music. Like they're just one of the craziest bands that I've ever listened to or heard of. And that was my first experience listening to them. And I remember just being so blown away by how technical and amazing they were that I went home and I started writing riffs that would eventually become Mushroom. And then I showed Brody that the next day. And we just built off that, pitching different transitions and stuff back and forth. He came to me with a rhythm that he had, that he had just been like humming to himself over time. That bada 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 bada. We would just kind of jam for a while, like people do, just start jamming whatever nonsense. And if we got to something that we really liked, like one of us would stop and be like, okay, let's build on that. And we just kind of did that. We would write certain parts, say like, okay, so we've got 3 or 4 like really solid 30-second sections. How do we tie it together? And then we would try to write cool transitions to smoothly flow from one section to the next. And we ended up writing that entire song in an afternoon, and probably like less than 4 hours we had finished the entire song. So that was a really fun process. I enjoy writing songs that way in person, just guitar and drums thrown into a room and you just come out with a song.